My name's Michelle Wong, or better known as Wongy, and last year I founded GoSH, which is the affectionate name for the Great Southern Hackathon. And the event was really about bringing some huge opportunities of a large event and scale to young people in the regions. GoSH was founded off the back of really a lot of frustration on my behalf. I'm involved in a lot of the Perth events for innovation and STEM outreach, and I love being at those events. I love watching young people innovate. However, I was very aware that there was very little representation, or none, from the regions, and also that the predominant schools involved were private schools. So I took it upon myself to say, right, let's do something targeting the more vulnerable community members and in the regions and get those kids in the room, because that's when innovation comes from challenge. These kids are facing a lot of challenges. So I knew that there'd be some pretty cool outcomes from the event. And when we gave them a stage to really show the way that they think and ideas, it was just huge. And it grew into the biggest event for young people in all of Western Australia. So not just in the regions, but including Metro as well. So we're pretty proud of GoSH. GoSH rocked. GoSH was a huge success because we had such incredible support from funders like Meshpoints. And the funding was really targeting removing financial barriers. So we offered the government schools free buses, we provided all the materials for young people to participate, including devices, etc. We were able to get that amount of kids involved because we had such great funding from Meshpoints, and that got them through the door on the buses. And it was really cool because we had kids who would not normally ever go to that event. In fact, 100% of participants had never done a hackathon before. And it was also the non-traditional kids that participated, because normally it would be the schools that could afford it or be working on a gifted and talented program or an entrepreneurial pathway, for example. Instead, we got every kid there thanks to funding from Meshpoints. Working with Space Cubed and Meshpoints has been a wonderful process, not only in the fact that they provide guidance through the application process. They'll talk you through areas where you need to perhaps provide a bit more information or to hone in on. The funding access is a lot more straightforward than going through, for example, a government or federal, state or RED grant application. And they really understand that innovation requires a different lens to support those funding models. And yeah, so you get the support the whole way through, and then constant communication, and then again following up with things like this, constantly checking in to see how your event went and how we can also give back to the innovation community, and then of course looking at ongoing relationships moving forward with the GoSH event. Having Lottery West and Space Cubed involved was a really important piece of the success of GoSH, because by putting those two really big, well-known brands in front and centre of all the young people, it showed them that they're not forgotten in the regions and that these big companies care, they want to see what their ideas are, and they're investing in their futures as well, not just the young people in the metro. So it just gave a really good calibre to the event, but it also showed the message that these big companies are coming to the regions too, not just in Perth. Without the support of our funders like Meshpoints and Space Cubed, the event would have happened just on a smaller scale, and certainly we would not have been able to provide access to as many buses as we did, and also access to the West Tech Fest Young Entrepreneur Showcase, because we used the access funding to not just pay for the accommodation for the young people, but for their families. So again, remembering they come from a lot of them socio-disadvantaged regional areas, it was a holiday in itself coming to stay at Pan Pacific, a 5-star hotel, and that funding made all of that possible. And I believe that the more we show investment in these young people, it becomes more than just a flash in the pan event. It's something that they'll continue with. And we've certainly this year, I'm working with Meshpoints and Lottery West again, as the event scales, so has their support. So we're really happy that our sponsors have jumped on board again and are continuing to grow with GoSH. So watch this space. So the outcomes for GoSH, apart from the data and the pure numbers, which were incredible, To me, it was the fact that the GoSH event did change lives of young people and their trajectories. For example, we had some senior girls working in the hackathon, and they'd created this incredible motor. The drawings were fantastic. And one of the judges was someone from Microsoft, and they said to this young girl, "Oh, and what's your career pathway?" The young person replied that probably nursing. And the relevance of understanding the background of this story is that in Mandurah, there's one physical campus of a university, and that's Murdoch, and their pathway is nursing. And the school that this young girl attended was one of the lowest socio-economic schools in Western Australia, not just in Mandurah. And so as a talented student in a school like that, on a pathway to university, she only saw Murdoch nursing as an option, which is great, and I'm certainly not taking away from Murdoch nursing at all, a wonderful, wonderful university and pathway. However, the judge from Microsoft said to her, "Well, you're actually an engineer, and you can be a nurse and help lots of people, but you could be an engineer and save, impact thousands, millions of people." And this young girl went on to win the Girls in Tech Award, went to Westech Young and Entrepreneur Showcase with her innovation and her team, and is now pursuing an engineering pathway thanks to that one conversation. So the event is impacting a lot of people in many ways, and I could tell you another 5 or 6 stories exactly the same. So really, really great outcomes. Last year at GoSH, the teams that were all winning in different categories received mentorship, where they were supported with taking their ideas into developing a more substantial prototype. They received some education on pitching and how to sell an idea, and this was all leading to the Westech Fest Young Entrepreneur Showcase. So we had some fantastic sponsorship that got those kids there, thanks to Student Edge and Meshpoints, Lottery West, etc. So they were able to get there and get amongst it. At Westech Fest, they were, again, the first time regional young people have been there, kids from low socioeconomic schools. I loved they were rocking their GoSH bright orange t-shirts as opposed to the blazers and ties that we saw among the other show holders. Really brought disruption to the forefront, and that pathway was solidified with those mentors. And also there's been a lot of job opportunities too. We had a lot of young people who helped behind the scenes. They received work experience, internships, videography, editing, the animation. So every single role at GoSH, we have a young person shadowing the professional to give them those ongoing pathways and work experience. After GoSH was such a great success, I went and had a coffee with JC, Jeremy Chetty, and we talked about what GoSH looks like in the future. The model itself is so unique and so successful because we really took an approach from, again, that disruptive and targeting vulnerable communities. So we've put together a model to scale, and GoSH this year is going to 3 different regions, and we've been approached by 2 more. So 2024, GoSH scaling to 3 events. 2025, we would love to see multiple regions as well as nationally. And then, from there, the sky's the limit. We will take the GoSH innovators. The model can be packaged up, so we're looking at even going into Southeast Asia.